Today's show, as always, sponsored by LivasaIslandApparel.com for gear that represents the South Pacific Island languages and cultures accurately and responsibly. Put on for the culture. Catch the wave at LivasaIslandApparel.com. Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of the Ballinesian podcast, sponsored, as always, by Livasa Island Apparel, www.livasailandapparel.com. I'm joined by Brother Forrest. Forrest, you got the discount code for livasailandapparel.com?
Sure do. If you're at the website and you're about to check out, don't forget to type in AIGA20, AIGA 2020. So AIGA20 at checkout, and that lasts till the end of the month. So,
Less than 2 weeks.
right,
Less
less
than
than
2
2
weeks to use
weeks.
that discount code at Livasa Island Apparel.
He's got some new hoodies out, new designs. The Love and Light design, which is
You see
pretty
the
dope.
flowers? The
The
flowers
floral, yep,
ones?
the
The
floral.
floral?
That's pretty dope. So, man, get on in there, man. Hey, 20% off.
Yeah. Yeah, 20%. It's 20%. That's what the 20 is for?
I hope
20%
so.
off?
I hope so.
Oh, sorry. Definitely check that out. AIGA20 at checkout on LivasaIslandApparel.com. Yeah, definitely the floral prints that are going on the
Yep.
hoodies that are behind the Livasa logo. Those are definitely hidden. Definitely check out Livasa on Instagram. Or you can go to our page. We got some of the different merchandise or sweaters you can check out
Yep.
in one of
Yeah.
the reels that we have posted. Definitely tap in, DM Brother Uriah, and let him know what you want to get so you
Oh
can
yeah.
put on for the culture. Catch the wave. Here we go. LivasaIslandApparel.com. They're also going to be at 4 Days of Aloha if you're in the Pacific Northwest,
July.
Vancouver, Washington. So, yeah, Esther Short Park. That's always a big gathering of a bunch of Islanders and the community. But that's this summer. So definitely tap in with Livasa, follow them, subscribe, DM, so you're in the know, and definitely check out the website. All right, joined by Brother Forrest. I'm Lance Falatongo. This is the Ballinesian podcast. We're here to talk sports and everything else. Right now, it's basically the culminating the first week of free agency in the NFL. And I feel like it's been very active, like a lot more changes and switches, like fewer re-signings to the same teams and more players switching teams. Or does that seem accurate to you, or is it just like kind of recency bias with seeing something like that?
No, definitely. And it's a lot of there's a lot of bigger name switching teams. Like,
Mm.
we're definitely there's always people switching teams because that's the nature of the business in the league. Some guys just new coaches means new players, new system. So definitely there's gonna be a lot of movement. But guys who maybe we thought were gonna re-sign or restructure a contract. They like as a Raiders fan, I really thought they were gonna have a deal in place to keep Josh Jacobs. I know they weren't gonna franchise tag him, but I figured maybe they'd have a deal. And just the way they were talking about how Antonio Pierce was saying he was like the heart of the team, a new GM, so he didn't have the same issues from the past regime that was there. Guys, Austin Eckler, who was a mainstay in LA. He's elsewhere. Uh,
Lots of running backs changing teams.
right.
Saquon to the Eagles, Derrick Henry to the Ravens, Tony Pollard to the Titans.
For me,
It's
I think
weird.
Derrick Henry was already on the way out. Uh, although doesn't mean he hasn't changed. He has changed teams, but I think during the season he was already on the out. Tony Pollard is another guy who I thought was on the way out during the season.
I thought he was going to be their like lead guy after they got rid of Ezekiel Elliott.
I did too, but they barely gave him the ball by mid-season. He wasn't the starter, I think, and so they really don't have a backup plan because I think a lot of people thought they were going to go after Derrick Henry, and well, he's again. You just said he's with the Ravens, so
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't feel like Derrick Henry fits with the Cowboys.
Well, with I mean, they weren't going to throw it all the time with Dak, but
Yeah.
again, season of movement. It is the off season, but yeah, I think for us, I think the movement seems a little bit more heavy because we're seeing bigger names move. Again, Kirk Cousins, another big name who's moved, who we thought like all season long, Minnesota was talking about keeping him and finding a way to restructure his contract. And again, the sentiment around the league and outside of the league, former players and people who casually watch football all think that um, Kirk Cousins has the best agent in the league because
Hey,
he's been.
money
I
bag
think,
Cousins.
yeah, I think the number is in all total his contracts come up to 411 million, which he's received about 300 and I want to say 27 million of that
Guaranteed.
400. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, and
Crazy.
people are saying that because he hasn't made it to or through the first round of a playoff game yet. He hasn't passed the first round. He's been injured a lot. So, I mean, but to his credit, he has been pretty good when he's on the field.
True.
He's put up numbers in Minnesota. Again, with the injuries, the numbers are going to look a little skewed because it's going to look like, oh man, but that's all he did. But in the time span that he had when he was healthy, it was pretty good numbers. So,
Cousins, I feel like he's just like on that cusp of really good quarterback
right,
and
right,
decent enough quarterback.
right.
Um,
Just in the middle. Like he might be in a tier of his own. I don't know if
yeah.
there's anybody else.
But it's
Like
like, yeah, not a like crazy physical game changer, but
no,
still a
but
good enough quarterback, a smart enough thinker, someone who
yep,
can
to
read and like isn't gonna be the Desmond Ritter, and like you
no,
can't count on him. At least you can
no.
count on Kirk Cousins. Uh,
But you know what? If we're talking about Kirk Cousins, if I was to give a comp, I would give him the better Matty Ice. He's gonna be that guy
mm,
in Atlanta, just like Matty Ice when he was, you know, good.
yeah.
So I think that's
Matt Ryan
where
was good from his first throw. That was like a touchdown to, was it Roddy White or
Roddy
Julio? It
White,
was like
yeah,
80-yard touchdown on his first
right.
play, and it was like, oh, this is easy.
I think
Matt Ryan. But then he fell off a cliff. Like,
that's what I
he
yeah,
got
I mean
old.
he did that real fast too, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's because he took a lot of hits in the league.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's what Atlanta is getting. Um the better Matty Ice
Mm,
than the latter that we saw in the league.
yeah.
So
We're gonna talk about more free agency stuff. I gotta talk about the Chargers and like the moves that they are and aren't making, and but the direction we feel like that's going. We're definitely going to hit some March Madness. I got some questions for you. I know you're a big North Carolina fan. We got to figure out exactly what the brackets are looking like. Uh, but first, we were talking last week, last episode about Russell Wilson signing to the Steelers.
yeah.
And because he's owed 38, 39 million or whatever it is from the Broncos, he can sign for a very small cap hit. So he actually signed like a $1.2 million contract, which is what is that like 80,000 a game when some
Some
guys are making like 5 million a game. Uh,
it's
it's
funny that we say that because it's like it's just 80,000. That's to other quarterbacks comparison.
if you
But for
give me
us, it's
eighty
like
thousand dollars right now,
you gonna
I feel
get
so
you
bad.
right. You gonna give me 80,000 a game? That's crazy. Like for I wish I got $80,000 every time I went to the
A
bathroom.
week.
You know what I mean? Jeez,
Cash
gosh.
that game check.
But
Um,
yeah, but that so I mean if you guys don't understand the contract, because Denver cut him before his contract was over, he's gonna sign that with the
he's
Steelers,
guaranteed that money, right?
but he's guaranteed the rest of that 39 million from Denver.
Hmm.
So Denver's gonna have to divvy up that
Yeah.
money.
And if the Steelers would have signed him for like 20 million, that 20 million would have refunded
Right.
against the 39 million that the Broncos owe him. So it
Yeah.
was really it was a very special situation it seems like where Russell Wilson, even though not the best quarterback, it looks like he's fallen off in the recent seasons with Nathaniel Hackett, Sean Payton, different situation than Seattle. Even the last couple of years of Seattle, I'm sure Seahawks fans will tell you it was getting tired, letting Russ cook and him, not delivering. but Russell Wilson had this like perk for any team that wanted to sign him. You could get a starting NFL quarterback for less than rookie quarterback wages.
Right.
Like super cost controlled, right? But the only thing is, it's only for this year. I don't think it's any of the money is guaranteed for
No, yeah,
2025.
yeah,
So he had to do it this season where he had that, hey guys, look at me, I'm a good enough quarterback, especially for $1 million only. Like
yeah.
that's
That's
it. That's a huge piece for GMs and trying to
definitely
figure out what pieces to plug into a roster where you have a set amount, a salary cap that you can't go over. If you can get a quarterback for $1 million, that's
not
you
just
know,
any quarterback too. He's still a starting caliber quarterback. Don't
yeah,
get him.
he's still top 32,
Yeah,
right?
he's still top 32.
Yeah,
He
for
can
sure.
start for any team in the league.
Yeah, if they over like a regular, yeah, if a good starter wasn't there, then definitely Russell could step in and be a guy that could be the signal caller for any team. Um, However, the Steelers were not done after trading for Russell Wilson.
No,
They
because
also
they also traded Kenny Pickett.
they traded. Oh, Kenny Pickett asked to be traded, right? He was like, I'm not with it. So they traded him to what? The Eagles
Yep,
for a fourth round pick, something like that.
yep.
And then Steelers not done. They lost a quarterback. They needed to get a new one. The Steelers acquired former Chicago Bears first round pick Justin Fields.
Yep.
Justin Fields from
Ohio State.
and they only gave up. Listen to this: a 2025 sixth rounder that may become a fourth rounder if Justin Fields plays like 51% of the snaps.
Right.
But what? How are Justin Fields was like mocked to go to so many different teams that needed a quarterback, and it was going to be for like an earlier round pick, and it was definitely going to be for a pick in this year's draft. How the hell did the Steelers get the Chicago Bears to agree to give them their starting quarterback right now for a super late round pick that is not even in this draft? What? How do you think that happened?
I mean, for us who don't do the numbers in the league, who don't, go into detail when it comes to things like this, unless we have to, like for the show. Um, what happened was quarterbacks started to sign early, and that started to drop Justin Fields' value. So Russ signing early,
Right.
Kirk Cousins gone. Who's the top quarterback? Quarterbacks staying with their
Gardner
team.
Minshew,
Got, I don't know if that one really. I don't know
but
if that one moved the needle,
teams
but
that really needed a
the
quarterback kind
the
of
first,
addressed
yeah,
it
the
early.
the top list of quarterbacks, the top names on the list of quarterbacks that were available
Mm.
signed early, which dropped Justin Fields' value in the league a lot lower. So when they were in the beginning, before all this happened, before preseason free, uh, what the hell am I doing over here? Before free agency started, uh, his value was about, they were saying second round pick, which is good value because he was a first round pick, um, number one pick if I'm correct. But
But
he wasn't producing the way people thought where he was producing. And Chicago also has the number one pick. Again, value down because there's quarterbacks in the draft
mm-hmm,
coming up that
mm-hmm.
people think are generational talents. There's three quarterbacks that people think could go number one. So that again, another notch down on the list for Justin Fields and his value for free agency. And then of course the draft, no one's really budging. You know, no one sees the first three picks being traded out, or
Yeah.
the teams in the first three picks trading out of those three picks. So again, Justin Fields' value drops a little bit more. It went from second round to about second round, third round to third round, fourth round. And I think Chicago finally decided that what they were gonna do. They finally, as a organization, decided that probably Caleb Williams. It's a strong indication that Caleb Williams goes first.
Yeah.
He might, yeah, he could most definitely be the new quarterback in Chicago. Um, Almost the same skill set as Justin Fields. So, now that
This is a better passer though, yeah.
I that's what they would say, he's a better passer. But now that they've decided, I mean, his value goes down more because Chicago really doesn't have to trade him. You know, it's it's really up to Chicago. They have two first picks in the first round anyway,
What, first overall and ninth?
and ninth.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Right. So they could really sit on it. Justin Fields could have been a great backup maybe for I'm pretty sure he didn't want to be. So
yeah. Well,
another
and also the GM was saying he wanted to do right by Justin Fields. You know, like
right, he didn't want to
I
have him
don't want you
sit.
to live in that gray area.
Right.
Don't have
Where
to
he's
sit. Like, let's get you out
yeah.
there, give you an opportunity to do what you want to do.
But also Justin Fields' team had a number of teams that in mind that those were the only teams that we're gonna go to.
Hmm.
Pittsburgh was one of those teams. So
That's
but they
crazy.
said there was a ton of teams that were inquiring about him. I know the Raiders were they put some feelers out there, see what they can get. I don't know if that's where he wanted to go because his former offensive coordinator is now the offensive
Hmm.
coordinator for the Las
Getsy.
Vegas Raiders. So yeah. So I don't know if he wanted to go back and play for Luke Getsy. The reports are that they didn't have such a great relationship, but those reports could be exaggerated as we've seen time and time again in the league. But yeah, why would you want to go to play for somebody where you didn't really shine or he didn't really use your skill set
Yeah, that
uh
part.
properly? So, that alone was one team notched out. Um Atlanta because he's
From Atlanta.
from Atlanta. But I think I don't know if they're willing to take a chance on him for fulfilling his potential out there because he's not
Right.
established. And they look like they seem to be like win now mode. So
I mean, especially in the NFC South, where it's
right,
like easier to win the
yeah,
division because
right,
usually, like I feel like they've had a losing record get into the playoffs in the last
yeah.
3 years or
And Kirk
something.
Cousins as a passer is a lot more
Yeah,
proven than
higher floor,
Justin. Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
lower
So
ceiling than Justin Fields, but definitely more reliable. You
definitely at
feel
the
like you
yeah.
know what you got there. And Justin Fields, even though it would have been a nice fit and he would have had skill players, high drafted skill players,
Not
you'd
only
rather.
that, his morale would have been I think, a lot better because it's his hometown. I mean, you go back home, get to play for the home team.
Mhm.
He was actually a freshman at Georgia before he transferred to Ohio State. So he's really a hometown kid. Went to school in Georgia, high school in Georgia, went to college in Georgia. So would have been a great fit. But all of that said, that's what dropped his value to a sixth-round pick.
A
Chicago.
future six-round pick. That's no one else that needs a court. Like the Raiders weren't like, here, take a fifth rounder this year.
But see, this is what I'm saying. There's teams he specifically wanted to go to. You know what I mean?
I
Like, he had
can't
his own
think that
list.
Pittsburgh is like super high on the list though. Oh, I saw a report that they tried to trade him to four other teams, but he said no to four
Right.
different trade.
Exactly. Also, that's also a thing for people to like think about. Like, I see a lot of people when I go onto these chat boards just to check like what the news is, because some of these guys claim that they have people that they know, um, and insider news. So you
Mhm.
go and look, but like it's always funny to see people like, why are we going after this guy? Or how come we couldn't sign him? So like even for the Raiders fans, a lot of people were like, we couldn't give Chicago a sixth rounder for Justin Fields, or damn, how come we didn't kick the wheels on just for look? If Justin Fields doesn't want to play for you,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
play for that team, then he can always say, "Nah, don't trade me there," because there's probably a clause in his contract where he kind of gets to pick where he gets traded to. So a lot of people don't realize that. Like, yo, yeah, I'm pretty sure the organization wanted him, but he didn't want to play for that organization.
Let me see the general manager for the Chicago Bears. Let's see. This is what he said. We have engaged in multiple trade conversations in recent weeks and believe trading Justin at this time to Pittsburgh is what is best for both Justin and the Bears. We spoke to Justin to inform him of the trade and the rationale behind it for us as a club. We want to thank him for his tireless dedication, leadership, and all he poured into our franchise and community the last 3 years, and wish him the best towards a long and successful NFL career. So it sounds like the Bears are kind of have wiped their hands and are done with Justin Fields, right? They
Right.
sent him out on a good enough note. They let him kind of pick exactly where he wanted to go, and I wonder why Pittsburgh was the place that he finally settled on letting them trade him to.
I mean,
Like with
honestly,
a big time quarterback already signed, do you think Justin Fields is like, okay, well Russell's only there for 1 year, and then I can be the starter after that, or do you think this is just an audition for the last year of his rookie contract before he tries to become a starter somewhere else?
no, because he could have gone somewhere else and got a starting position. Uh, I know there's a team out there who inquired about him and wanted to trade for him that was going to make him a starter. But an honest answer, of course, we don't know what he was really thinking. But I think to get the chance to sit behind Russ, he really wants to be a complete quarterback. Because there was times last year, you saw it. There was times last year where he could have had a 9-yard run for a first down, or picked up five here, or just ran, and he kind of just waited and waited and waited and waited to throw the ball
He's
because
like, I
he's
can run out of this.
right, right. He was trying to develop, but also, I mean, I'm pretty sure like he was being told that by maybe some of his trainers, some of the coaches, try to develop your throwing. Well, now he gets to go and sit behind Russ, something he wasn't able to do coming into Chicago. Gets to learn a little bit, despite what a lot of people think about Russ. Russ is a good throwing quarterback. He's also kind of the same as Justin Fields. Get out of the pocket. He can move. He's really good. His escapability is really good. So kind of the same skill set. Just
Yeah, I can
Justin
see it.
Fields has a lot more of it. He's also bigger frame. The kid's bigger than Russ, so
Oh yeah, I didn't
yeah, he's
realize that.
he's bigger than Russ. Their
Is Russ short
defenses.
or is Justin Fields tall?
Don't Justin Fields is tall and Russ is short.
Oh, he said both.
Yeah, just I think Justin Fields is I want to say 6'4", and
Oh
Russ
man,
is a generous 5'11".
no, he's got to be at least 6 foot for real.
Look,
Oh man, I
I'm
gotta go
telling
to
you,
this.
you're gonna look. It's either gonna say 6 foot or 5'11", but he is not at that mark for sure. He is not at that mark.
Russell Wilson height. Where is it? Russell Carrington Wilson, November 29th, 1988, is 5'11". Jeez.
So that's what I'm saying. That's a generous 5'11" now, folks. Um, he might be closer to about maybe 5'10", 5'9", honestly.
Damn. Dang,
Um,
I did not think he was that short. That's crazy.
yeah.
But Justin Fields, I mean, so this is the other thing, right? Like, if you really wanted a backup year to really learn, I feel like there are better places and better quarterbacks to learn from because you really like, especially with Russell Wilson, just like you said, they're very similar in that they can escape and they use their legs a little bit more than the average quarterback, try to get out the pocket, find a breakdown on the outside, and kind of exploit. I feel like Russell Wilson used to have some of the most beautiful deep balls. Like he could throw the moon ball and it would find Tyler Lockett like in the back, very back corner of the end zone. But I don't think that's still happening. I don't think he's that quarterback. Like, he might be able to tell Justin Fields, this is how you prepare. This is how you should be doing it. When we won the Super Bowl in Seattle, um, when we went to two Super Bowls, this is what we did. I know this is successful, plan of attack. But I don't know about, teaching him to be a better quarterback. I feel like there might have been better backup situations. So now that
Right.
makes me think like, did he think I could beat Russell Wilson straight up to be a starter? Or, just like I don't know.
Well, he had to know that Russ was already he saw Kenny Pickett leave, and the reason Kenny Pickett left is because he was told that Russ was all going to be entrenched as a starter when they already told Kenny Pickett that he was going to have a chance, at least in training camp, to compete for it.
Yeah,
So Justin Fields knew going into it that he wasn't starting right away when he comes in. I get what you're saying. Russ doesn't throw the best moon ball anymore. But is that because he doesn't know how to throw it anymore? No, it's because he's older. That's physical. You know what I mean? Him knowing how to still throw it, he still knows how to throw it. Maybe he can't get it there like he used to, but he can still throw. Still show
gotcha.
Justin Fields how to throw it.
It's not clicking
Who's
so much in the heat of battle, but he still
right when to
knows
throw it,
everything.
how to throw it, get it
Okay,
to receivers. Justin Fields' problem also was reading defenses. Russ is probably really good at reading defenses. He can learn that. Again, to say all this is not, we don't know whether that's why he went, but that could be one of the reasons. Also, Pittsburgh's defense is looking really, really, really good. They
for
signed Pat
sure, for
Queen.
sure.
They still got
Damn,
Watt.
yep.
Yeah, the inside of that
Cam
defensive line is
Hayward,
still good. Cam Hayward's still good.
Hightower. Jeez,
Yep. They got
Hightower,
Fitzpatrick,
Highsmith.
Highsmith. They still got Fitzpatrick in the backfield. So they're pretty set on defense. They're good. They got a George Pickens who came on late. George, I don't block at all. Pickens, uh, playing
I'm
wide
not trying to
receiver.
get hurt.
I'm not trying to get hurt. I don't get paid to block,
I get
bitch.
rolled up, man. Ow.
They got one of
Just go
the.
jump, George. Just
Oh my
go jump.
gosh, they got one of the best running backs in the league in the backfield. Young running backs. And no, I'm not talking about
Jalen
Najee Harris,
Warren.
who should be the starter next year. He could, him and I'm not saying Najee Harris is not a good player, but Jalen Warren's proven that he's better when he's on the field. So they got those two guys in the backfield. Oh man. So the team itself is pretty good. Also, Tomlin's there, you never know.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe he likes playing for Tomlin.
Hall of
I
Fame
think
coach.
Hall of Fame coach. And like you said, you said that there could be other teams out there where his skill set is better suited to learn from like a guy who like so you have
I'm
again
thinking a pocket passer.
oh okay. Well,
Like if he got behind a pocket passer and was like really like every day, it's like stand tall, look around, prepare, know what's going on. I feel like that's the part of the game that Justin Fields is missing because he's definitely got the arm sometimes. He's definitely got the
man.
escapability a lot, but
Hey,
it's
look,
like just
I
standing there and completing a good pass doesn't always happen. You can't really count on it.
I say this a lot, and it's not just about life. I can also put it to sports now. So, you cannot turn an orange into an apple. If you're an orange, be an orange. Be an orange. And maybe Justin Fields knows that, you know, maybe he's an orange, and now he's realizing maybe it should just be an orange. You don't have to be the best pocket passer, my guy. Um,
Is it?
Mahomes,
Is it?
Mahomes doesn't pass out of the pocket all the time.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's he's different though.
Lamar Jackson, yeah, is the best
Mahomes is
throwing.
different.
Lamar Jackson is the best throwing running back in the league. Um,
What
uh,
what I really like to hear about like up and coming NBA stars is like every offseason they'll come back with something new. Like they got
true,
something new in their
right?
bag, right? Little post
You
game,
can
little
add
outside
something.
shot.
Add
I feel
something.
like that should kind of be the same thing you're doing as a pro quarterback. Like if you're lacking in a certain aspect, that is definitely something you should focus on and,
No, definitely.
try to
But
improve.
like the mechanics from football and basketball, totally different. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
He should come back and have a different skill. I don't know if it's going to
Work
be
on it.
like a really good pocket passer, but he can come back as a good passer.
That's what I'm saying. Like the bar is so low for the passing portion
Right.
of
He
Justin
doesn't
Fields.
have to be a
People
pocket
don't
passer.
expect they don't expect him to be hitting those throws. But if he could, I mean, that would
But
be
ball.
even better.
But
Clay
that's
was saying that he's Justin Fields is the social media quarterback, not Justin Herbert. Justin Fields is the one that's like, oh, his plays look good on Instagram, but it doesn't translate to wins. Um, and since that's some Justin Herbert slander, and I accept that.
but
That's
look, look, that's It's the same thing you can say, like, I know his numbers aren't, well, of course, professional in college, but that's what people are saying about Caleb Williams. His skills don't translate into wins. And his skill set is almost the same as Justin Fields. You know what I
That's
mean?
what you said.
They don't. Um, so look, Justin Fields doesn't have to be a pocket passer. He can be a better passer. He's gonna have to learn how to throw on the run or out of the pocket, rollout, stuff like that.
Mhm.
He doesn't have to be. And these are the fans who want him to be a better pocket passer. These are analysts who think that that's all you can do. These old dudes who scoff at guys who run the ball from the quarterback position, who talk about the purity of the game when it suits them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
look, Justin Fields is a young kid who's proven that he could win from high school all the way through college. Same thing as Caleb Williams. And when
Mhm.
they get to this level, this NFL level, people expect him to be something they're not. And Justin Fields just got to go out there and be a winner. You know what
Do
I
you
mean? Be a winner.
do you remember Matt Flynn?
Yes, I do, because he played for the Raiders.
Oh, what?
He did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he used to back up Rodgers in Green Bay,
Yep.
and he got signed to the Seahawks to be their starter. And before training camp even got out, they were like, "It's not going to be Matt Flynn. It's going to be
No,
this
that
new
yeah.
kid that came in and is going to take his job away from him." What are the chances that Justin Fields plays the Russell Wilson role and Russell Wilson is Matt Flynn this year and takes the starting job before week one? Give me like a percentage. What do you think?
Two.
Like a 2% chance?
Yeah.
It's got to be something crazy where Russell really
Yeah.
sucks and
Yeah.
Justin
Like
Fields
he's got
proves
to
that he's
be
better.
really, really bad. You know what I mean? Like,
Especially with Tomlin as the coach, I feel like he's more likely to go with the vet and people are going to trust him, even if Russell starts pretty shaky, instead of like having to flip to the young kid who's unproven but might
yeah,
make some
it's
plays
he's gonna have to be like really shaky. Like for the first, like, I think his leash
in
is gonna be a
camp.
little, yeah, I think his leash is gonna be a little shorter, but I think he'll have like, I think by the third game, if he's not really doing like Russell Wilson stuff, you know what I mean? I think that really projects uh Justin
Justin
Fields
Fields.
a little further, like quicker into the starting position.
Yeah.
Because they have like we just talked about their defense, like they're really good on they look really good on paper. Like they've got guys to win now, and what they were really missing last year, uh, besides a better offensive coordinator who they found, uh, and a decent quarterback, you know, but they have pieces. They have pieces. They have a solid D line. Their O line is better now. They were a little banged up last year, but they got better as they went along. They're healthier. Uh, the defense as a whole, uh, they were ranked at least top five for most of the season.
They were winning games for him. They
Yeah,
were getting
yeah,
outrushed, outscored for the
yeah.
first three quarters, but they would always like at the very end,
Have
the
a good
defense would
stop.
score.
Yeah.
They'd have a big stop. The offense would
So
just get close enough.
yeah, they get Fryer moved back a healthy for the whole season. Excuse me, for the whole season they get Fryer moved back. George Pickens is developing. They had a couple of other younger receivers.
Yeah.
The backfield is set with two backs. So yeah, um, they're gonna want to see a
Offensive
lot.
line.
Yeah, they're gonna want to see production from Russ early, and if they
Yeah.
don't, what's next to do? Because
$80,000 a game though. It's like whatever.
right,
It's like
right,
whatever. We
exactly.
got a touchdown and an interception. That's the
Yeah,
most we can ask
that's
for.
yeah. So
Probably better than Kenny Pickett. So it's I mean that
definitely,
what we were talking about with Mike, like how many games did we think the Steelers were going to win? We were both saying, well, if they made it to the playoffs with Kenny Pickett, it's got to be
it's
a
got to be
better.
above, yeah,
It's got to be better than that.
9 or 10 at the least.
But like I do worry sometimes, like Justin or Russell Wilson. If he really has fallen off, he looked really bad in Denver. Like I think that first or second game when they were getting delay of game penalties because they couldn't see the play clock, and the crowd started counting down in unison. That was wild. Like I'd never seen that before. I'd never heard that before. That was embarrassing, kind of
Hey
like.
man, sometimes you need all the help you can get. Look,
Yeah, exactly.
I,
Sometimes you need
I,
all the help you can get.
I'm by no means a Russell Wilson fan. I do like the guy, and I thought it was uh really trashy that he got booed when he went back to Seattle after he won them a Super Bowl, and
Mm.
he was really
I think
great
it's
in
the way
Seattle.
that ended. It, yeah.
That's not his fault. That's the organization because that's a shitty organization. So sorry, Mike, if you're somewhere listening and you're not here with this. Yeah, Seattle, man, this I don't know, but
Played like the way they sent him out. What did they do? They traded him to Denver, right? They tried to let him. I feel like they tried to let him cook. They almost gave him the team over Pete Carroll,
but they did it.
but they didn't. Luckily
Right.
for them, they got
I don't
hella
know.
picks. They got hella picks from that trade.
True, true. It
Yeah,
worked out. Well, I
good for
don't know if
them.
it worked out for them because they're still shitty. Sorry,
I
Mike.
mean, they're definitely in a better position than the Broncos are right now. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. I'm definitely interested in
Definitely,
seeing it. The Steelers camp. I wonder if they're a hard knocks candidate.
it'd be cool,
Um,
and definitely, I think Russ's troubles wasn't just on the field when he was in Denver. I think everything that culminated there was with Sean Payton, who's also documented being very difficult to work with as a coach. Just a whole lot of stuff going on. Also with Russ, also being a difficult person to work with. He's got certain demands. He's a bougie quarterback. So
he
again,
wanted to be treated like Patrick Mahomes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now that he's in Denver, I mean Pittsburgh, maybe it'll be different.
I feel like the locker room and the coaching staff in Pittsburgh is a lot more veteran and like
Right.
established. He just went through Nathaniel Hackett, whose first year as a head coach, and then Sean Payton, whose first year coaching in a long time. So hopefully it's a different, better structured environment so that he and Justin Fields can succeed. Um, yeah. So before we talk about March Madness, University of North Carolina, uh, I just need to talk about the Chargers and the moves they have made,
Or the lack
and
thereof.
I need or the lack thereof. Definitely had four of the five top biggest cap hits for non-quarterbacks: Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and we were like 30 plus million over the
Over,
salary cap.
over,
So
yeah.
a lot of cuts needed to happen. And if you've ever played Madden and been like over the cap, you know a bunch of cuts need to happen. But the other part is you can't sign big time free agents because they're asking for, like
Yeah.
15 million a year, whatever it is, and it's probably going to be for a lot of years because you're competing with, bidding against other teams for a certain player who has reached free agency and knows their worth and is going to get paid a lot. So not only did the Chargers have to cut Mike Williams, they also had to trade away longtime fan favorite wide receiver Keenan Allen, who was a third round pick. I want to say like 2015 ish. Um, but yeah, Keenan Allen has been a dog, Pro Bowler, All Pro, I think. Definitely really talented and could move. Not always, not fast, but I feel
No.
like that also helped him later in his career where he's at now. He's never been fast, never needed it. He's quick in small spaces and will lose you.
But he's
And
also big. So when he goes across the
I did
field,
not know that.
he's
I did.
big.
He's like 6'3".
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Honestly, if you see him, people are gonna say like that's only an inch. It counts. He's actually probably like 6'4".
Damn.
He's a solid 6'4" too. So,
Hmm.
which is also why he's able to play on the outside, because he can play the control receiver, the boundary receiver.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, no.
Yeah, losing him was definitely a shock. I was at my computer this weekend doing some work, and one of my friends, shout out to Zach Oram, you asshole. He walks up to me and just shows me his phone, And I'm like, oh, it's time for a meme. And I look down and it's breaking news. Keenan Allen traded for a fourth round pick to Chicago. I stood the fuck up. I'm sorry, excuse me. I stood up and I just was like, what? What? Oh, what? 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 And news started to spread throughout the house, and everyone's like, Lance, are you okay? And I was like, I don't understand what just happened. Because we
Just
also had news that Khalil Mack restructured his contract
right.
before the deadline, and
So
then Joey Bosa restructured the day after the deadline. So I was hoping to hear Keenan Allen restructure news, and we were all
just
going to come back and have a good time. Not
just to
happening.
be fair to everybody listening, yes, they needed to lose some, and also Keenan Allen was like there were talks of him leaving anyway. So if you guys are wondering why Lance is so hurt by it, is because they had already cut Mike Williams. So
Right. Right.
keeping Keenan Allen would have made the most sense,
Yes. Keep the
right?
other wide receiver. That's
Right.
good.
And they still had Quentin Johnston,
Mm-hmm.
who his skill set matches Mike Williams. He's not at Mike Williams level yet,
Yeah.
but his skill set is more suited
I
to match Mike Williams. They
I
had
don't know
already
about that.
restructured. They restructured already. Uh, so they might have. I think what they should have done was kept Mike Williams, but I'm pretty sure
Oof. It's
they
like
they
23 million.
they probably thought that I get it. You know what I mean? It's a team move when you restructure. But at the
Yeah.
same time, Keenan Allen is coming off the best
True.
season of his career,
That's what he said.
um, knows his value.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hard for someone who, like, you're gonna tell me to take a pay cut after I just did that for your organization? That's
Yeah.
rough. And I know people want to win, but it's not that hard either to be like, well, if you're not gonna let me win here with that money, I'm gonna go somewhere else who's even more equipped to win. And he
Chicago?
did
Shit.
that.
Bolo.
Yeah, so I mean, that's tough. Yeah, that's another reason it hurts because he literally could have gone somewhere else. I'm pretty sure no one was gonna pay him what Chicago's paying him, but he could
I
have
think,
gone.
it's just going to continue with what his signed contract was. But definitely with the
Okay,
new GM coming in for the Chargers,
yeah,
Keenan Allen
he's
wasn't doing nobody no
no,
favors. He's like, look, I don't
no,
know you from
right.
from Dick and Harry. I
Like
need
you
to.
just got here.
Yeah, I did well. I mean, this is a knock versus Keenan Allen. He has missed games, 11 games in the last two seasons. So he's not always on the field, but definitely last year set a career high in catches, had what 1,200 yards.
Right.
So definitely a big time contributor that can still do it. I think he's on like his last contract. Like he's probably going to get one more contract before his career is over. So definitely wants to capitalize on that, and I can't hold that against him. He's always going to be a favorite, uh, but he was given the opportunity to do what Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa did, and that is to
Right.
take a pay cut so that the Chargers could restructure his contract, maybe put some more money later. Because like they didn't
On
take
the back end.
the thing about Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, they might have took like $4 million, $7 million in pay cuts now, but they also got different bonuses or different decision making dates moved up to next
Yeah.
year that will give them a little bit more power on how they either want to be paid or what needs to happen for them to get to a team that is going to give them the money they want. So it was, I feel like, a good enough deal for Mack and Bosa. And Bosa, I did not think was going to take a deal. I thought he was the one that was going to be like, "Nah, you're going to pay me what I signed for because I signed for a mega contract." But it turned out to be Keenan Allen, and like you said, especially after the cut of Mike Williams
Yeah.
and just releasing him, I thought, okay, well that means Keenan's going to stay because who else do we got at quarter or wide receiver? And with the cut for Mike Williams, I feel like Mike Williams is more that 50-50 strong receiver, whereas Quentin Johnston definitely has that frame and size, it seems, but I feel like he easily gets the ball smacked out of his hands at the point of contact. So he's much more like they tried throwing him dump off screens. They tried getting him the ball behind the line of scrimmage, kind of in space. He's more
But yeah,
like
see,
a runner.
That's what I'm saying. Not at this point in his career.
I so hope that he gets that part where Mike Williams would jump with
Oh,
anybody and
me
come
too,
down with the
man.
ball most of the time. That
I
would be super helpful for Justin Herbert.
I hope he gets it after he leaves LA.
Great, great. On his next contract when he signs with the Raiders or
But
something.
it also speaks to like I think Jim Harbaugh could have did it that situation with Keenan Allen. I think, you know, the new coach come in and say something to Keenan Allen. I think it's just also Keenan Allen, and I'm not knocking Jim Harbaugh. I just think Keenan Allen doesn't want to maybe play in that system. So
I'm like, this is the system though. Oh, okay. Do they maybe they came in and were like, yo, it's gonna be more running. But
right.
it's still Justin Herbert. I feel like Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen had such a good connection that that might have been something that Keenan was like, okay, I'll stay. I'll stay with my QB. He's always going to feed me. He knows I'm the guy. And I might take a couple million less this year, but hopefully it leads to something bigger, maybe a bigger contract with another team
It's
the
so funny
next year.
if you're on Twitter, everybody's like, man, San Diego should just cut their losses right now, trade Justin Herbert and draft JJ McCarthy.
Everybody is like, anytime I'm talking about free agency and the moves the Chargers make, they're like, yeah, you should trade Justin Herbert. And I'm like, shut up. How does that make sense? How does that make any sense?
That's what I want to say
We
most of the
just
time.
signed
Like,
him to an extension last year. We're now paying him hell of money, and they're like, "Yeah, trade him away, trade him to us. Actually, you can have our scraps." And I was like, "Why does this feel like fantasy football trades right now? I don't want your freaking backup tight end." Actually, we signed their backup tight end, the Seahawks backup tight end. Oh, okay. So they handled all the cap space stuff, right? And then the second part is before we move on to March Madness, they also signed Ravens running back Gus Edwards, Seattle tight end Will Disley, Cincinnati tight end Hayden Hurst, former Seahawks defensive tackle Puna Ford, and then I think another
that's a
running back.
good
Oh,
signing
Troy
too.
Dye. We signed Troy Dye today. So
Wasn't he on the roster though? I thought he was on the roster already.
Troy Dye.
Yeah.
Uh,
I thought he was like at least on the practice squad.
oh,
That's
maybe
Herbert. That's Herbert's boy.
that's what I'm saying. They won the with the Rose Bowl a couple years ago. Uh, I hate it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So, I mean, the signings that they make, they're also very short contracts, 1, 2 years maybe. So they're definitely not going to tie the Chargers down. But just looking at the positions that they're signing, tight ends, running backs, D tackles, it does seem like a
They're
move away
filling
from the finesse and kind of going to that Greg Roman smash running game.
yeah. But they're also quality signings. And these are the signings I really like to look for. Like of course, for any team, you want to be like, man, the big signings those are the cool signings. But the signings that are gonna fill the holes
Yeah,
that you don't really see,
yeah,
or um like some of your starters, they can't play every down. So like these signings like um Puna Ford
quality.
is going to be really good for you guys because he was good in
I think
Seattle.
so.
You guys have been needing a good D tackle.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
guys got two tight ends now. I know you guys had like a team of tight ends, but if they're also moving to uh, a more run heavy, you're going to need more tight ends because you're probably going to have a lot of double tight end sets.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm worried though about Hayden Hurst because after last year when he took a hit last year, my man had amnesia for like I
Oh,
think it's
dang.
like
What?
2 weeks. Yeah, he took a really big hit
Uh-oh.
last year in Carolina and had amnesia for a few, I think like 2 weeks. So
Damn.
if he forgets to catch the ball when he's playing for the Ravens, good for us. But yeah,
He just
that
walks off the field during the play. The ball hits him in the back shoulder. He's like, what?
what am I doing in this uniform?
He's like, this isn't Cincinnati. Damn. All
So
the
also,
best for current Chargers tight end Hayden Hurst. Please be okay.
but also, like Gus Edwards again is
I
a good
like it.
signing. Yeah, I know a lot of people are scared because of the injuries that he's had, and they're pretty bad injuries, and they
Yeah,
were like
true.
back to back. But when he's on the field, he's a good runner. He was able to stay on the field a lot
Mhm.
this past season.
Just
So
chugging along.
right, which is cool. But
I think he
yeah,
had
man.
13 touchdowns.
Yeah, and
I'll
also
take that.
it's just it's also the beginning of the free agency off season. So there's still a lot left to go. There could still be trades made. Um,
I'm looking at
and the
that draft.
draft.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I know the Chargers at what do you guys at ninth,
fifth,
fifth? Oh,
fifth
fifth.
overall.
Whatever kicker they pick is going to be really blessed.
Puddle.
So,
The fifth overall pick, the Chargers select punter.
right. So I mean, hey,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys weren't able to sign the best D tackle in the league right now. I mean,
No, I don't
uh,
want to be tied down by all that money for so long.
oh
What if
yeah,
he's bad next year?
I'd hate that.
I'd hate having a great defensive line that
Oh
makes
my gosh,
quarterbacks throw the ball haphazardly into my
sucks.
DBs. Jack
That
Jones
so
has got to be so
sucks.
happy. Jack Jones is going to get a bunch of ducks out there. Christian Wilkins and
Well,
Max Crosby crashing
but not,
down on opposing
but
quarterbacks.
again, like the other signings that they made to that D line, they kept John Jenkins, they kept Adam Butler. Those two signings excite me because
Nice, yeah.
yes, Christian Wilkins is the best defensive tackle in the league, arguably the best defensive tackle in the league. Now that shout out to Aaron Donald who retired.
Yeah.
Now that he's gone, but I think Adam Butler had like I think he had 5.5 sacks last season
Those
from the
those are
detail.
important. The re-signing the good
Yeah.
players and keeping them, but for not too much.
Right. And John Jenkins was all three of them were teammates in Miami. So they have some kind of
Nice.
semblance
Oh,
together.
damn. Okay.
Yeah. So they signed Mattinson today, the
Yeah.
running back from Minnesota, who's going to be a good piece because he's always been a good number two running back. Wasn't that
That
great last
part.
year as a number one running back?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a running back by committee, as Telesco has said. So that adds him and Zeus White. They're going to get the Zamir White. They're going to get the bulk of the carries, and they have Abdullah.
Amir Abdullah.
Yeah. So great moves. Great
Nice.
moves. Those small moves.
Before we do shout outs, let's talk March Madness. We are we are into the season. When does the tournament start?
Next week.
Next week? And so
Next week.
has Selection Sunday already happened? Do we already know who's all in?
Yes, we do. The only team you guys need to know about is in the West. The number one seed in the West is the University of North Carolina from the North Kakalakis. Yo, if you don't know, then I don't know what you're watching. No, they North Carolina is the number one seed in the West. I am a big North Carolina fan. They look good. They did lose the championship game to the ACC tournament to North Carolina State. Um, but they
Wolfpack?
they were
No.
shout out to Katie.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Kenny
Katie Penny.
Penwetza.
Yeah. I'll wolf pack for that, but
Nice, nice.
yeah, they look good. They got a transfer in this season, Harrison Ingram, who was a five-star coming out of high school, who signed with Stanford, transferred to UNC this year. Cormac Ryan, who was at Notre Dame, also at Stanford before he was at Notre Dame. He transferred over to play the shooting guard position. RJ Davis, who is arguably the best player in the country this year. He's an All-American, first team All-American. He might win player of the year. He's the player of the year in the ACC. He leads that team. He's a scorer, undersized scorer, 6'1" guard, but 6'1" combo guard, but he can fill it up. Armando Bacot, another five-star coming out of high school. He's been at North Carolina, it seems like forever, because he had the COVID year. He came back for his senior year, used his COVID year. So, he's already been to a Final Four. So he's got the experience. He's also one of the better man. I think I've seen him twice pull down like 26 rebounds in a game. So he's really good. He can score in the middle. They got to stay strong. They got a solid bench. Seth Trimble coming off the bench, Jalen Washington. Yeah, they're solid. There's a lot of great teams playing in the tournament, of course, but I cheer for North Carolina. They are solid. They beat Duke twice, swept them. this season. So if you guys any Dookies out there, Mala. uh yeah, so
You call them Dookies?
they call themselves Dookies. We took a Dookie on them. But
The
Arizona's in,
rivalry.
yeah,
Was it Chapel Hill and
Chapel Hill and
Raleigh?
who cares? Who cares?
Where is
Yeah,
Duke?
yeah, in Raleigh.
Who's the most famous
Um,
person from UNC? Is it His Airness?
ooh,
Coach
I
Smith?
mean, that's tough, man. Between Dean Smith, Michael Jordan, Vince Carter could put his name into that. Antoine Jameson, you know what I mean? James Worthy went to North Carolina.
Oh,
So, yeah,
who is the most famous person out of Duke?
nobody. Fuck
Coach
Duke.
K, right? Coach K,
No,
Olympics.
uh, Chelsea Gray.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Chelsea
Damn,
Gray.
went to Duke?
Yeah, she went to Duke.
And still friends with you, yeah?
I think it's by force. Uh, she
The
goes hard for her.
rivalry.
She goes hard for Duke. Yeah, her best friend is why can't I remember his name? He played for Duke. He's a point guard for Duke.
JJ?
No, Quinn.
Quinn
Um,
Cook?
Quinn Cook is her best friend.
Nice.
He's a cool dude. Her and Quinn
Former
Cook are,
Laker?
yeah, they're like, and she's a former Spark. So yeah, so
Nice.
Duke also is going to be in the tournament. They look good. They got Philip Bukowski who got hurt
Ouch.
early. He looked like he looked. I don't
Do
know.
you you've
His
seen the
looks.
video to that, right? Do you think he was trying to trip that guy?
Oh, for sure,
He like
for
stuck his
sure,
leg out and then his knee got popped.
bro. I've done it in the game. That's for sure. That's for sure. He's trying to trip him. That's not even that worse. Him and Caitlin Clark had kind of the same moment this year when the courts were rushed.
Yeah.
If you watch both videos, I'm not saying they did, but it kind of looks like they both initiate the contact before they're hit.
Yeah.
So
The
I don't
people
know.
running on the court. I feel like Caitlin Clark's might like what is it, Flipkowski?
Yeah, Philip Bukowski.
I feel like his was looked a lot more intentional, like he was trying to either shove the
Right.
guy running on the court or
Yeah.
stick his leg out to
Yeah.
make contact, and then it ended up messing up his knee.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark looks like she got the wind straight
No,
up knocked out of her. She did like a turn that made me think it was fake.
it
Like
was
she did
fake.
like a like the whole head went up and stuff, but then like
I
after it was like she couldn't breathe. I was like, oh yeah, I know what
no,
that feels like.
I'm all for player safety because that is a
Yeah,
crazy situation
get
where
off the court.
right. Well, I mean, at least go like rush somewhere away from like rush the team's bench, your team's bench, and not
Yeah,
the middle of the court. Like, because like you know, as soon as the game's done, the whoever's playing at that moment is still on the court, and you're gonna get lost within those, and you
hmm
never know.
hmm
You never know what a fan's gonna do, because we saw Flauja's brother the other night when LSU was playing South Carolina, the women's game, and Flauja had a confrontation with Cardozo from
yeah, yeah,
South Carolina, and her brother jumped from the stands. He jumped over the scores table
and through,
to confront Cardozo. And my thing is
bruh,
like, what,
yeah,
like, bro, those are women on the court. I know she's 6'7" and your sister's 6'1", but bro, your sister should have picked a better fight. You know, like.
you cannot be rushing the court to
But
fight
yeah,
the players.
one, you can't rush the court. Two, you are a grown man.
Mm.
So, anyway, we're not gonna get into that because it's a whole
I'm
show.
I'm excited to see the women's tournament. I heard
Man,
Utah is
if it
gonna
was
be
closer, they
in
play.
Spokane.
Oh man, that'd be so cool to drive up there, but that's a hell of a drive.
Well, here's the thing: if they win their first two games, I think the Sweet 16 is here at the Moda Center in Portland.
Well, they're in the Portland bracket.
Okay, so they
Yeah,
start up in
they
like
started in Spokane and then they'll slowly move
yeah,
inwards. So they played South Dakota State there.
yeah, take
McKell
care of
Center.
business.
Hey, if you guys are Polynesian or Native American, go down to the McKell Center on Saturday. Go watch Elisa play. Show some
Yeah,
support for her. Second team All American this year. She could have been a first. She should have been a first.
Should
She's
have.
all pack, yeah, all pack 12. She's projected top 10 pick in the draft this year.
Hell yeah.
She's put in work. She's amazing. She's
Yeah.
amazing.
And then gonna be
Whatever.
able to keep playing ball as like her job.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
That's dope.
So we got there's a ton of people in the tournament this year that are Polynesian. Last year, Paul, who hopefully she's
Yep.
okay. She had an incident where she fell and got hurt the other night. They had to take her out on the stretcher.
Oh
She's with LSU. She'll be in. Um, Siani Paopao, she's playing for uh South
Scar.
Carolina, the undefeated South Carolina, the
Jeez.
number one team in the country, South Carolina, the Don Staley coach, South Carolina, if you
Hell
didn't
yeah.
know. We also have Tolu Smith, who plays for Mississippi State men's team. He's the star center at Mississippi State. So if you have a chance to watch Mississippi State as well, watch Tolu Smith. Throw out a choo for him if you're in the stadium. You know what I mean? They're the SEC champions. They beat Alabama this past weekend. Shout out to him. Yeah, so the tournament's not just for people who, I know you want to go to a game and really understand what's going on, but if you just want to go support these kids, please go do so. Stanford has a couple Polynesian girls on the team. Megan Fiesel plays at San Diego State. Go
Yee.
support her, so there's some girls on Oregon too. So if you're an Oregon fan and they're in the tournament, go support them. I know there's a Hawaiian girl in there, Ula Chamberlain. She plays there. Man, there's just so many of these Polynesian kids out there playing ball. And if you have a chance, if they're anywhere in your region, you know,
Yeah.
please go watch them. But again, North Carolina, number one out of the West. That's who I'll be cheering for. Arizona's another team to go watch. They're pretty good. Who's also has a Polynesian point guard. Uh uh what's Boswell? Kyron Boswell plays for Arizona. He's a starter. He is amazing. So yeah, Arizona, um, who else is out there? Alabama's also pretty good. There's just a ton of teams out there that you can go watch. And March Madness, if you guys haven't watched basketball and you guys want to get into basketball, this is the perfect time to watch it. Watch the tournament. The games are
Yeah.
super exciting. It's not like the NBA playoffs. It's one and done. And man, I've never seen so many teams who were slated to lose win. There's so many upsets that happen because there's so much emotion that goes into these games. So it's must-watch TV. So please watch the
The
tournament.
madness.
Cheer for North Carolina because USC men's didn't make the
Cheer
tournament.
for cheer for who you want. All right. Madness is upon us. It is March. Let's get to our shout outs for this week. Firstly, shout out to our sponsor, Livos Island Apparel, Brother Uri, Brother Va out there in Modesto, California. Definitely tap in www.livvasaislandapparel.com or on Instagram, le_vasa. Definitely a lot of posts where you can check out the merchandise. Or, online at the website. Definitely, yeah, check that out. Put on for the culture, catch the wave at livvasaislandapparel.com.
Yes.
Eyeing a 20 also is the discount code to use. You have until the end of March. So definitely
Yep. No
check that out.
excuses,
See how
man.
much you can save. The more
If
you
you
spend, the
yeah.
more you save. Come on. Let's run it up and use that discount and see how it goes. Uh, you got any shout outs? So let me write.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my nephew, man. Yawa Jr., we call him baby. Starting a new job this week. That's a win.
Yeah.
Because he's leaving his other job on good standards, but it's like a step up for him. So shout out to him. You know what I mean? Shout out to baby Nora who got to go hang out with her family
Yeah.
this Eastern Oregon, is it, Lance? You guys right?
Yep. Yeah, out in
Yep.
Ione.
Yeah, got to celebrate her birthday. And she got to celebrate it tonight, even though she didn't get to eat some of the food. But that's all right. That's all right. Her dad's gonna be able to go down and eat it for her, so that's a good thing. Man, shout out to you, man, and Mike. wherever Mike's at tonight. Uh, man, shout out to Cepho. If you guys have the time,
Yeah,
hit up Cepho, give him some prayers, some good vibes. Uh, his family are all taking care of his grandmother right now, who's ill right now. So if you have the prayers, you have the time, hit up Cepho, man. Say a prayer with him, say a prayer for him. Just shoot him some good vibes.
amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely praying for him and travel and the family that are taking care of the grandma there. This week for the Polyticket Network, gonna be on the Patreon episode. Definitely check out the Politicking Patreon, patreon.com. Be teaming up with Oh Hello Marcus, talking about 32-hour work
Marcus!
week, sponsored by Senator Bernie Sanders, independent out of Vermont.
Come on, Bernie Sanders.
32-hour work week with no reduced wages. Talk to me
Come
nice.
on, man.
We're going to talk about The Rock getting like a bunch of different intellectual property signed to him, including the name The Rock, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, a bunch of taglines, and also Jabroni. They're now kind of copyright trademark to him, or he owns the rights.
Why
Uh,
did I think that was already a trademark for him?
right, but now I think
Hmm,
they gave it to him because he's part of the board. It might have been like a part of a package or something. But
maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
that'll be coming out later this week. Also, the Pacifica movie starter kit. We are reviewing Disney movie Moana, which is a big one. My daughter watches it all the time. She's like the same age as baby Moana was when she was selected by the ocean, chosen to sail across the seas,
Hey,
find Maui, restore the heart of Tafiti.
and her dad is about the same age as Maui.
Yeah, see? Perfect. Yeah. Yo, I've been taking crazy notes for this. I'm not even halfway done yet. But yeah, that's going to be also dropping this Friday. Um, yeah, tap in. Check out what we're doing. Shout outs to brother Luke and Abby, who were married
Hey,
this weekend. Congratulations to the very happy couple and to their boys, Cam, Crew, Cooper. It's really nice to see the little nephews.
nice. If you're in
They're
Texas, hit up Dutch Bros.
Yo, yeah. If you're in Longview, there's two different Dutch Bros, and if you go to either of them, you're helping out brother Luke. And I also
Right.
think in Nagadocious, there's also a new Dutch Bros. Dutch Bros is expanding, bro. There's hella Dutch
Oh,
Bros
hey,
opening up all over the place. Yeah. So shout out to brother Luke. Congratulations on the wedding, and keep doing great things. You're killing it. Shout out to Greg and Shelly Reitman, who we stayed with, Sammy and Luke's aunt and uncle, Nora's Nana and Pop Pop. Um, yeah, they're amazing. We all got sick. We all got like the flu for 2 days, but like even with a wedding and a double birthday party back to back, they were freaking heroes. They had everything set up. They working together with everybody, managed to make everything like really special. And Nora was out there playing with her cousins for hours and hours and hours. Slept the whole night. Slept the next
yeah.
morning. So definitely like good family fun time.
Definitely.
Definitely needed. Also shout out to Sammy, who didn't get sick and ended up having to do everything while the rest of us were sick. But she knocked it out, man. She was in the wedding. She also got Nora ready to be a flower girl. She also baked the wedding cake. Like
Oh,
she
damn.
made a wedding cake for them to cut. That was dope. That was crazy. Um, yeah, she did a whole lot and was super exhausted. But then we came home and she cleaned up like the whole house. And like I was like, oh, you need to like take an edible and take a bath or something. Relax. I'm gonna go record a podcast while you finish the.
It's a, you keep cleaning,
you,
but
you're on a roll. You're doing great. No, yeah, definitely shout out to her. Freaking amazing, amazing job this weekend.
Eh,
And made her brother's wedding, helped make that happen. Definitely helped make Nora's birthday party, 2 years old. Uh, Made that happen. So yeah, shout out to Sammy.
See, guys, this is how you talk about your significant other.
Yo, yeah, I'd be around people that be trash talking their significant other like a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you guys are together, right?
Hey,
You know that, right?
then
You know
you have
you're
to go
wearing a
home with
ring,
that
right?
person, right?
Try to be friends. Try to be friendly.
Man,
Yeah,
totally off
no, I mean,
subject, but
it's not like it's all flowers and roses
no,
all the
no,
time. It's
no.
definitely hard, and we get in our fights and stuff. But definitely recognizing greatness when I see it. And this
Amen.
week, she killed it. Shout out to Brother Forrest. Appreciate you for being on, man. Thank you for.
Hey, look, before you do that, because this is gonna be, I'm such a dumbass. So when I was a kid, right, and I used to see wedding cakes. So you know how they have tiers, right? And I was always like,
Let me
that's
take that.
cool. Oh, so not even that. Like I used to, they have the, I don't even know what you call them, but they have the stands that hold up the different tiers.
Mhm.
I always thought that was part of the cake. And I was like, huh, how do they get that piece of cake to be that strong to hold on those tiers?
It's
God.
like a cardboard or something. It's like something.
Right. And then it's like, huh, amazing.
It's empty. It's all smoke and mirrors. Yo, yeah, she made a three tier. She made a I don't know 3 tier cake. It was crazy. It was a big tall cake, and she like even made frosting from scratch, and it was amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, shout out to TikTok and the or is TikTok banned? No, okay, that's something else we can talk about. Anyways, yeah, that is our episode for this week. Thank you very much for tapping in and listening or watching us, whether on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever it is. We very much appreciate you guys tapping in. Let us know if there's any other topics you want us to talk about, or if anything you heard today was absolute BS and you need to tell us about it. Definitely leave a comment, send a DM, email us at ballinesian@gmail.com. Find us at Ballinesian on any of the socials, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook. Yeah, so yeah, we're out there. Tap in. Let us know. Also, if you have a business or know somebody with a business and want a radio commercial, let us know. We're going to be doing different sorts of ads. Definitely trying to build up that advertising marketing
Yep.
platform, and it's something that we feel like we can do. So, yeah, let us
Right.
know. Send us a message. We'll do it for free. We just really want to like get those reps in and really build that catalog of advertisers, advertisements, ads. Yeah, so definitely tap in. Let us know how
Right.
we can help, how we can be of service to you.
Hey, listen to
Uh,
these voices. I mean, you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's because we have a face for radio that we have great voices.
That's why we're here to tell people stuff so you don't look at us. But yeah, our voices are great at telling
Yeah.
people things. You've listened to our voices for over the last hour.
Right.
So
Please
definitely
don't watch the YouTube channel.
no, go
Just
to the
listen to the
YouTube and
podcast.
subscribe. You don't have to watch after that, but please subscribe. We need the watch hours too, actually. So if you could just leave us on in the
Please.
background.
Right. You know what I mean? You can blur us out. Just subscribe. Subscribe, blur the screen, but
But yeah,
definitely listen to us. Yes.
that is the episode. Ballinesian podcast. What is this? 103? 104?
Man, see?
Oh man, we're moving. Yeah, so definitely put on for the culture. Catch the wave. Check out livosislandapparel.com and tap in with Ballinesian wherever you get your podcast from. Thank you so much for listening. That is our show. Wrapping it up for Brother Forrest. I am Lance Politomo. Thanks for tapping in. Keep being you. Keep being great. Stay hydrated. Stay blessed. Stay balling. Love and light. Peace.
Good luck, San Diego.